What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pat's Chat. We're a proud member of the CLNS Media Network. Make sure to hit subscribe on the Pat's Chat YouTube channel, on Patriots Press Pass. Turn on notifications for when a new video drops on the channel. Michael, it is the unofficial first day of free agency. It is the legal tampering period. We're currently in it. Started at noon. Patriots have signed 3 guys, and as of today, lost 4. What are your thoughts?
I think it's important on this day to never be the mad guy because I feel like there's a lot of mad guys and gals, right?
I think there are probably some mad guys and gals, but I think that they are, as typically, the vocal minority. They're the ones that you see. They're the ones who are the loudest. And listen, I think today was underwhelming. I think that's fair to say. We all knew it wasn't going to be last year. But even still, based on the conversations I had at the Combine, I was expecting more than what they did today because they still don't have a safety. They haven't filled in the spot for Stephon Diggs. They don't have a left guard. Like, there's a lot of things they still have to do. And it is fair to say that the free agent crop is dwindling right now. So I'm not the mad guy. I wouldn't be mad anyway. I'm not overreacting, but I do think it was underwhelming.
I'm mad at motorcyclists that think they're so cool when they drive by. Like, it's like, that's so cool. No, I think if you want to boo someone and be mad at someone, start with the Colts. Because, like, you could have done this.
That was a little messed up, yeah.
You could have done this for a while, and then to wait till 5 seconds into free agent into the there was no tampering with your player. You could have tampered with him January, February, March. That was a rude thing to just disrupt the market. I don't know that it was advantageous to them. So he was sort of the prize of the receiver crop. If you're mad at them for not getting there, you have to remember he's not leaving, and that's a big factor. Like if he went, it's a similar thing. If someone else went out and got him and swooped him away, you could have that conversation. But generally, if a guy stays, it's rare, I guess, that you stay and set the market. But the Colts were willing to do it for him. Like, so you were really never getting in there. If you offered, they reportedly 27, right? The Patriots reportedly offered.
I'm not sure if there was a number out there.
I'll Google it. But they went to for 29. If you went to 29, he's still not moving. He's still not getting the car. We established he's a Midwest guy. I don't know what you would have had to gone to get him out of there. So that wasn't happening. And that leads you down the road. The rest of the wide receiving crop isn't going to get anyone excited. So if you want to hone in on one spot, that's the one where you got to wonder what they're going to do. I don't know how serious the Eagles are about trading AJ Brown. It doesn't feel very serious. Maybe that's something they'll revisit after June 1st, but you've got a roster to build in the meantime. So that's a problem, no doubt about it. But again, how mad can you get at the Patriots for not signing a guy who didn't leave his team?
Right. And I think that you can't really panic or really get that mad until we know what happens with AJ Brown. We know what, if anything, happens with Brian Thomas Jr. Even listen, I know that you weren't that psyched about, but even Romeo Doubs would be an upgrade over what they currently. He would be a starter on this team. And listen, I don't think Doubs would enter as a number 1 wide receiver or whatever, but won't he kind of replicate what you would have got out of Stephon Diggs this year in a 25-year-old's body?
I don't know, but he's probably better than what you've got.
Right. Yeah.
So you need to get that guy, and then whether I don't know the trades materialize.
Yeah, you just don't know if they're going to, but you also can't panic until you know what happens there.
There's an element of you want to get your trade settled before free agency, so you know how to approach free agency. Right. But then there's also the follow-up to that, which is you kind of know how the front end of free agency went, and now you can strategize toward later free agency or trades. Like there's still that market there. It's not as if trades can't happen now. So they've got to formulate a plan and stick to it and execute it. But I just think there wasn't anything today. Like if Pierce signed with name your team, Pittsburgh or whoever,
right?
It's a different digest by me.
We have some comments in here already.
Okay.
A lot of them are from Mr. Snoopy.
Yeah.
And one of his comments is, "What are you doing, dog? Making excuses for the Patriots." I think that's supposed to say Doug.
Just for the one Patriot too.
Did I make an excuse for the Patriots?
I don't think so. If anyone did, I guess I did.
Maybe,
but I don't think
regardless
I made an excuse. I have the thing. This has nothing to do with that comment necessarily.
Yeah.
But sometimes I tweet on Twitter, twitter.com, and it's like, I've complained about this before. It's always like, oh, why are you crying about that? It's like, sometimes you just explain the way something is, and it's like, so you can't really control how.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, if you want to be mad before an AJ Brown trade potentially happened, I guess that's your prerogative. You can do whatever you want. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that, like, I don't think there's necessarily a need to panic about the wide receiver position until we know what happens with AJ Brown. Yeah. If they don't get AJ Brown, if they have to fill the need through the draft, I don't think that's a smart process for the Patriots. Yeah. And I just want to throw one more in here. It's once again Mr. Snoopy. Yeah. We got an F-. It's all Kraft's fault. He doesn't want to spend a penny. Well, I don't think we're gonna even make the playoffs. We'll be 9-8 after that. Drake May will get hurt and be out.
Okay.
Can we not do the Kraft thing? Like, I've seen it so much today. Do we really think that Kraft, who talks all the time about wanting to get back to a Super Bowl, doesn't want to improve the team? Like, do we think it's Kraft? Like, I don't know. I understand that that's like what some people have fed you over the years, but like the Krafts have never been cheap about the team.
I guess I'm missing who people would even be super mad about missing out on. Like,
I guess it's Pierce, but like you said, he signed with his own team. Before,
what were you going to give him $33 million a year? He's the highest paid receiver ever, which tells you how silly this all is. How silly the first day of free agency is. I think if you want to be like a real crumb bum, you're like, they signed a fullback. Yeah, that'll get you the Super Bowl. It's like, well, free agency is not one day long.
No, and I think the one thing that I don't think that it would have made people happy, but I would have considered doing a late round pick swap for Pittman.
Yeah.
I didn't think. I was kind of surprised that's all it cost to get him.
What did they pay him? $3
for 59 or something like that. 58.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I know he's not. I know Pierce was a better player last year.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He's a pretty decent wide receiver. Yeah. And a late round pick swap for him feels like in this wide receiver market a pretty good deal.
I meant to double check this, but you're here, so I can just ask you. There was a story in the Boston Herald coming out of the combine saying the Patriots would be targeting the second tier of pass rushers. Would Draymond Jones fit right into what you explained there?
Yeah, I actually thought that they would sign someone like Draymond Jones and someone better, which they haven't done yet.
So he's not. That's, I forget the names you listed.
So I think that one, like Jalen Phillips and Trey Hendrickson were thought to be like the first tier of pass rushers. And Jalen Phillips signed for $30 million a year. But then Mafe and Owe, all these other guys also signed for like 20 plus. So I think that, I don't know. I mean, like, listen, they could still bring back Caleb on Jason. They could still bring back Jalen Hawkins. That would fill those two needs. I do think, though, that like they are running out of wide receiver options if they don't get Brown or Thomas or Dobbs, or if someone like other wide receiver, I don't know, comes out of nowhere as a trade candidate. I guess they could revisit Diggs at that point, but I don't know. That's not really improving your team. That seems like backup option there at that point. But I don't know, just looking at safety right now, looking at edge, looking at wide receiver, those positions seem thin already on the free agent market, unless you want to sign older guys.
Yeah, I just brought up the Athletics list of best remaining players. The top receiver would be Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, I still think it's Dobbs, right?
And Dobbs is, I believe, not far behind. So
I thought Rashid Shaheed getting,
that's crazy too.
$51 million over 3 years. Like, that's not what I would have done.
Yeah, and now Doug, let's play a game. This is because that was on my notes too. I had Alec Pierce being the highest paid wide receiver ever. Showing how silly it is, and Rashid Shaheed getting $34.7 million guaranteed money. Let's play a game. He was acquired by the Seahawks at the trade deadline, which is, call it week 10-ish. right?
Midway through the season, yeah.
That would give you 7-8 games to play for your new team. How many catches did Rashid Shaheed have? Should we even do the playoffs?
I'll do the playoffs. Don't do the playoffs.
Okay, just the regular season. I'll tell you the game number. He played 9 games. I didn't look at the reception number myself. I didn't cheat. 9 games.
I know it's not much. I don't know if it's even 20.
I was going to say 13, but I think it might be like 17.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I would go less than 17.
9 games, 15 receptions.
See, that is truly the most shocking thing about it is that, yeah, he was in the building. And, I mean, he had, what, 1 catch maybe, 2 in the Super Bowl?
Well, he had 3 catches in the playoffs. 1 was the big one, right, in the championship game. I got to move my browser over because Sports Reference at year 80 of existence was like, let's change how we have our website. Insane. He had 2 catches in the Super Bowl for 27 yards. He had 1 catch for 51 yards against the Rams that I mentioned, and that's his playoff production. So I don't know if they felt like they had to do that because of what they traded to get him. But man, oh man, the wide receiver market can be silly. And I would throw another name on that list.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because Robert Kraft's name has come up. But let's say you're the owner of a team. What team do you own, Doug Kyed?
I own the Thunderhawks.
The Thunderhawks of the Bay.
Yep.
Let's say someone comes to you like, hey, owner, I would like to give Michael Evans a 3-year deal worth 20 per. I don't know the guaranteed, but let's do it. And you're like, you got it, boss. Sign the check.
I mean, I would, if the people that I hired believe that's the best move, I don't think Kraft is saying like, no, I won't pay that guy. Yeah. I don't think he's doing that.
Well, I just wanted to point out Mike Evans getting that much money
at this
point of his career is nuts. It's
I just want to defend you real quick. Max said, my God, Hurley, Pierce is nowhere near the highest paid wide receiver ever. Chase makes $40 million a year. Highest paid free agent wide receiver.
Well, he hit the mark. Well, which is kind of a lie. Which is kind of a lie. He did sort of hit the market.
He did. Like they let his contract basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chase was an extension.
Right. Fair enough. My God.
John Singer says Pats need tight end help. Otton at 330 was attainable, and Pittman for a late round pick was criminal. Would have been great for us. Tight end is another one where
Hooper left.
Once they moved, like Hooper left, which was not a surprise, but once they missed out on Kohler and Otton, there's like not a lot of other guys out there. Because do you really sign Njoku just to be another guy who's like the same age as Hunter Henry? You know, like wouldn't you have wanted to get younger with a guy like Otton while also bringing in a starting caliber player? I know, 3 for 30. That maybe he just really wanted to go back to the Bucs. That's always that's always a possibility when someone resigns, but I would have been in on that one.
Yeah, I would add on Njoku. You said he'd be a year older. There's also the fact that he just keeps getting bigger and bigger by the year. So, like, I don't think you want next year's Njoku because who knows what size he's going to be.
That is true. He was already much larger last year.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the tight end situation. They need a tight end. They need a wide receiver. They did technically address their edge need.
They did, but so all you've done right now is swap Chason for Jones. And if you can get an edge in the first round of the draft, then you've upgraded enough. But when you have other needs like wide receiver that you might have to address there, or like tackle, or all these other positions, you would like to sign 2 veteran edge guys to make sure that you don't have to count on Landry. And so that one of them, probably Chason or whoever they would sign, would be that, situational edge rusher so that Jones and Landry can be starters, and then you bring someone else off the bench.
I mentioned earlier, maybe last week, how there's historically like a 3 to 5 win boost for the team that spends a ton of money in free agency.
Right.
And then I said the next year you typically come back, and a part of that is because you can't spend as much money as you spent last year. This is where maybe the Harold Landry contract is a bit of a boondoggle, where
a little bit,
but it's just if that's what's preventing you from getting your number one pass rusher because you're kind of paying him for that, and you can't rely on it, but you can't go you can't cut him. You're in that kind of spot. So that is the one issue with their free agency last year was they got a guy who ended up getting hurt.
We might need to put Mr. Snoopy in timeout. He's saying that's hogwash and that Kraft gives the Patriots a very limited budget this year and says, work with it. Don't give me that crap, Doug. I think Mr. Snoopy might be the maddest person on the internet about the Patriots right now.
That's fine. I mean,
I guess ignore that for a little bit.
I guess when I said it's important,
it's getting a little bit too much.
I said it's important not to be the mad guy, but like if you want to be mad, you can be mad. It's
be mad about like actual things. Don't create things to get mad about in your head.
We're all mad about something, and whatever form that takes, however that manifests itself, be your own person. But so you don't sound super high on Draymond Jones in terms of.
No, I think he'll be good. Like he had 24 QB hits last year. I think he can be a starter. I think that, but he's not a improvement over Chason, and their pass rush struggled last year. So yeah, you could expect some improvement out of Elijah Ponder and Braden Swinson or whatever, but in the grand scheme of things, they've made a neutral move at edge, if anything, right now.
Yeah, and I guess they could still sign Chason. I don't know what that would do. Then you're going two players.
I think then you've made an upgrade.
Oh, because you've added, right?
Because you've added.
You're probably getting. I don't know if Chason was on your second tier of pass rushers.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I guess you've enhanced the room. I don't know if I saw Christian Barmore's charges were dropped. I don't know if that affects his status because and a lack of free agent activity could correspond with a lack of surprise cuts of big money players, etc.
It wasn't a strong defensive tackle class. I'd be shocked if he went anywhere at this point. So yeah, we should talk about. So I know the draft is still on the horizon, and there's still more free agent moves to be made. This was literally only the first day of this, so
and it's technically not really free agency. It's just chatter, just talking.
It's not over yet either, but grand scheme of things, and I just want to make sure that I haven't missed any moves here. They have released Stephon Diggs. They have released Jelani Tavai. They have traded Garrett Bradbury, and Caleb Von Chason and Jalen Hawkins are not currently on the team. They lost Austin Hooper and Kyrus Tonga in free agency, and they have brought on board Draymond Jones, and we haven't even talked about him yet, Reggie Gilliam, the fullback. The team has currently gotten worse from the end of the season. So I do understand some frustration and looking at, but there is still time. I don't think they want to get worse, but I also think they didn't want to pay these crazy prices when ultimately, they had like $60 million in cap space. That goes by fast. And excuse me, goes by even faster when you have to re-sign guys like Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah. I get what you're doing. I get what you're saying, but like it is March 9th. And it is, but guys are gone now. Yeah. I guess who did they miss out on that they should have gotten that we haven't discussed yet? We mentioned Pierce quite a bit, but I didn't see a deal
Sumalo, the guard, going for $10 million a year, I think was affordable.
Linderbaum
Pittman was one.
Is it fair to say they were never in on Linderbaum with $81 million with
I would
59 guaranteed?
I actually think that if the Patriots had done that, Patriots fans would have had every right to be as mad as humanly possible.
That's crazy.
So Otten, if he was willing to leave.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were some guys, and like I haven't looked at the edge prices too closely, but like Owe and Mafe,
20 mil,
probably got paid too much. But you were willing to go. How much they paid? $13 million a year for Jones. So
I guess if you could get,
it's not like he was free,
What if you could get Jones and Chason for 25 combined compared to Mafe for 20? I think you'd rather that.
Yeah. Yes. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
One player tight end. I think they're basically just going to have to draft one at this point.
Yeah, and you need Hunter Henry to once again play like 91% of your snaps.
Which that's the scary part.
playing with fire. Nothing against like Hunter Henry, but he's been in the league for, I don't know what, 8 years?
Right.
Longer than that.
Well, maybe longer.
He's
than
been
that,
with
10.
the Patriots since 2020. He's been in the
Right.
league since, or 2021. He's been in the league for
2016. So
4
this
years
will
before
be,
that. Yeah. So he's been in the league for like a
year,
decade.
11th year coming up.
And he's been very durable and very reliable. All it takes is one snap in the violent sport of football. You could take a helmet to the knee or the elbow or the neck or the chin or the jaw.
Right.
And you could be out for 4 to 8 weeks, and then you're leaning on a rookie. So
right. And like you would like to probably draft a tight end in the 3rd or 4th round. And like think back to the Dalton Keene, Devin Asiasi days.
Oh.
If that's the type of guy that you accidentally get, you can't count on them. And also, rookie tight ends in general are not the most dependable players.
Mm-hmm.
So if you draft a tight end, you can't expect a ton from them in year one. Like even Gronk had 500 yards as a rookie.
Yeah. It's going to be a challenge, and I don't think the you see a lot of former Vrabel players end up back. Josh McDaniels doesn't have a lot of former tight ends out there you can go out and get because of.
It's very true. Yeah.
Well, anyways, you missed one Patriots player that left that caught my eye today, and I was just like, man, I mentioned this the other day. There's no one more popular than the backup quarterback, and there's no one more popular than the tackle that doesn't play for 75% of the season.
Lowe. Yeah.
Vidarian Lowe getting $12 million with half of it guaranteed. It's like, imagine if he was a free agent a year ago.
I know.
There would be 0 offers. They'd be like, no. And now because he played for 4 games and did fine-ish.
Yep.
Oh, well, he's an NFL caliber tackle. And it's like, man, that just tells you how rare those players are at that position.
I was just looking. I think Cole Strange just signed for like $11 million, not per year, but 2 years. 2 years, $13 million for Cole Strange.
Do you think that's based mostly on draft position? Because I don't know that his play has warranted.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Good for him. Good for Cole Strange. He can every time he gets a paycheck deposited into his account, he should get an alert on his phone. That's just Sean McVay cracking up when he was drafted. That's what I would do.
It's true. What'd you think about Reggie Gilliam? Bills fans seemed a little bit pissed about it.
Yeah, I think it's one that people might mock because it's a fullback and it's 2026. But I don't know, Doug. Did you watch the Patriots run the ball this year?
Yeah, I think that they could use someone like Reggie Gilliam for sure.
For sure. I think the happiest man in New England, he's probably not in New England at this moment, but generally speaking, Trevion Henderson has to be pretty happy about that one because I think he needed a little help. And I think he is an explosive player who by the end of the season looked scared to try anything. Yeah. And I think a player like that can really unlock the reason you use the 2nd round pick on a running back, not a receiver, is because you believed in the talent. I think a player like this can unlock that talent.
Yeah.
Nope,
it's very true. And I don't know. I think that when I was saying that the Patriots haven't gotten better or have gotten worse since last season, obviously you do have to account for improvement out of rookie players. So you can account for some improvement from Henderson, especially after Gilliam signed. You can account for some improvement out of Will Campbell. We'll see about Kyle Williams. It feels like they might be expecting too much out of Kyle Williams if there isn't a wide receiver move done here.
Because
usually you see something as a rookie. And I just did not see nearly enough consistency.
And that's the thing. They're putting too much on him, not because of, he's a 2nd-year player who was a 3rd-round pick, but because of how out of sorts he looked all year long, because he never seemed to figure it out. And if you're saying, he'll figure it out now, I don't know. That might be a 50-50 shot at best.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will address Mr. Snoopy.
Oh, God.
Again.
Oh, boy.
He keeps asking why we're not talking about Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb was pretty bad for the Dolphins last year. So that's why we're not addressing Bradley Chubb.
Got a name.
He's a name. He's a name people have heard of.
Mm-hmm. You know who else is a name that people have heard of from the Dolphins? Tua Tagovailoa. Why aren't you talking about him? Should the Patriots have gotten him?
That would have been bad. So someone said, Doug, you are the GM for a day. What's your plan for the remainder of free agency? I would try to trade for A.J. Brown. If I can't do that, I would sign Romeo Doubs. I would sign Joel Bitonio at left guard because they need a left guard. And then I would re-sign Caleb on Chason, and I would re-sign Jalen Hawkins.
Okay.
I think that, or and if Kevin Byard is cheaper, I'd get Byard instead of Hawkins.
All right.
But I think that would probably be my plan. I don't know about Brian Thomas. He's apparently available. Last year is pretty scary though, right? He was bad last year.
He was bad last year when everyone else was booming down there, when everyone else was reinvigorated and inspired from the quarterback on down, the new head coach, everything was grooving except for him. You got to wonder why, but the year before did happen too. So I don't know. Some guys, whether it's scheme, whether it's coaching,
it's a new scheme, so that could play into it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, that's a player I think you have to at least make a run at, especially knowing that they've been involved with a number of these guys and have pursued a number of the guys that you've seen go. That has to be one of them.
You know what? I might pivot to Thomas as my second. Like, if they can't acquire AJ Brown, then Thomas might be, as long as he doesn't cost, like, I don't think he would cost a first round pick at this point, right?
No. So, I don't think AJ Brown should cost a first round pick. He may.
I agree with that as well.
I think the only way the AJ Brown thing happens at this point is if AJ Brown goes into Howie Roseman's office and says, like, listen, I'm pissed and I'm flipping this table over and I'm going to spit on your door on the way out. Like, I don't think the Eagles are motivated to do that. I don't think they're motivated to trade AJ Brown. I really have never really believed that they're serious about it.
So the appeal about Brian Thomas while we're on here as well is that he has a base salary of $1.075 million in 2026 and 2.8 in 2027. There's a roster bonus this year as well, but like the actual contract is so low that if you have to give up a second round pick for him, it's probably worth it in the long run because you're paying AJ Brown $30 million or you're paying Brian Thomas like $5 million. So, and I mean, it's my opinion on AJ Brown has changed now at this point after they missed out on Pierce, because prior to Pierce, I would have rather had Alec Pierce for $30 million without giving up a draft pick versus AJ Brown for $30 million while potentially having to give up a first round pick. Now that it's the best option, I guess I would do it because that does give them a wide receiver, but like, I'm not dying to give up a first round pick for what, 28, 29-year-old wide receiver, whatever he is.
With potentially degenerative knee issues?
I haven't seen that, but yeah.
Oh, has anyone started or stopped talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. as a potential in that same Brian Thomas realm? Or is that just sort of speculative?
Because I think that's all speculative. I don't think that, like, Connor Hughes reported that the Jaguars are taking calls on Brian Thomas. And like, people have talked about even like Jordan Addison, like, until there's actually a sign that these guys are available, you could talk about anyone. And that just seems like a waste of time.
I guess the Cardinals thing, because whenever you look at a regime change and you look at an organization that is aimless and has been for our entire lives, except for brief few moments, I would consider it a real possibility, but without actual reporting, it's hard to believe something. The way things
I will say though that Monty Austinfort drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. and he's still there. Whereas with the Jaguars, it was a different GM and head coach that drafted Brian Thomas Jr. So that makes him inherently more available. And like, they've got a lot of guys, and like, I don't know. I don't know if there's room for all those wide receivers.
Who? The Jaguars?
On Jacksonville.
Yeah. Well, the Cardinals signed Kendrick Bourne today, didn't they?
They did, yes.
The room's getting bigger.
Even that contract, 2 for up to 12. I know that those up twos go a long way, but like,
I bet his is a lot.
Kendrick Bourne did like not a whole lot last year. Yeah, it's probably like a 2 for 6 or something.
Yeah. Well, remember when Kendrick Bourne got sort of benched for half a season because he might have been late to a preseason game? And didn't play football.
That was crazy because that was like the prime of his career too.
He was good the year before.
I would have been furious if I were Kendrick Bourne for that. But one thing I'm not furious about is Prize Picks. So hold on one second. I'm going to pull up a little video while I talk about this. shoot your shot on Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk and every dime and every board that much more exciting. Don't miss this chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And now that Jason Tatum's back, that's fun to play Prize Picks.
He's back.
Make some lineups with Jason Tatum on there, right?
He's already doing more than I would have anticipated. I had $1.
All right.
$2.
Okay.
$3.
Look at Mr. Moneybags over here.
$4. $5. That's what it looks like, folks.
That's exactly what. Wow, look at that. That was impressive.
I like to brag sometimes, so I just wanted to show off.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah. Doing Prize Picks while the Celtics are in the playoffs. That'll be fun. So yeah. Download Prize Picks today. $5, $50 in lineups. That's a very, 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 very good deal. So do that. You could also do the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, which I can't watch because I can't log into I can't watch over the air broadcasting on a computer because the internet hates me sometimes. But I wish I had it.
Shohei Ohtani, currently 3.5 hits plus runs plus RBI. It seems high. You think more?
I mean, he's going to get a couple hits.
Wow. All right, there we go.
He's good at baseball. Have you ever seen him play?
Yeah, I've heard about him. He's pretty good.
He's phenomenal.
What would you do if you were the GM of the Patriots?
I would do exactly what you said. That's it. No, it's tricky because last year you kind of had I don't want to call it an advantage because that's not the right word, but you almost had nothing to lose in the sense that you had to spend a lot of money in free agency and you had to lean on your rookie class and you had high draft picks.
Right.
You don't have that same luxury as a defending conference championship winner. You can't be like, all right, well, we got to get this done in the draft.
Right.
It gets that much more difficult. And I don't know. I haven't done my draft prep yet. I might never do my draft prep. But generally speaking, maybe I'm thinking about ways to move up in that first round. Maybe if I think there's a player in the high teens, that could be that there's a case to be made that using your first round pick and whatever, the second, next year, second, whatever it may be, it's going to be pricey.
Yeah. Right.
It could be a better usage of resources to draft a rookie than to use that on a late 20s receiver.
No, I agree. And I think, yeah.
You have to get it right. You have to get the guy.
You do.
You can't get.
This isn't the strongest wide receiver class in the draft. Strong edge class, but you don't know who's going to be there at 31. So if you have to move up for a guy that you feel really confident about, but at the same time, I don't know, not the best draft class overall. So you might want to take as many swings as possible. Speaking of the World Baseball Classic.
Zinger. Yeah, it's a complicated thing. You mentioned the tight end market. That's a problem. I think that's more of an issue probably than the receivers because think about what we said all throughout the year. And I know nobody wants to hear this, and I understand nobody wants to go into the season with this receiving room the way it is.
No,
we kept saying this receiving group is pretty good.
Right.
Not great, not game changing. Like they're still missing that element, but you're deeper there than you are at tight end. You're more established there at tight end. You have guys that showed really high end things at times last year in that room that you have one guy now at tight end. So
it feels like you're teetering on a real lack of depth.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you've got Goddard, Njoku, Chuka Okonkwo, Jonnu Smith, Darren Waller. That's pretty much the tight end group. I don't like none of those guys make sense for the Patriots. You know?
Yeah.
Like if they sign Goddard or Njoku, it makes the room better, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You're probably overpaying for a guy who's going to be Hunter Henry's backup.
I think you're okay with overpaying short term. Like if you got to pay.
Are those guys do those guys want to come and be Hunter Henry's backup?
No.
Right?
No.
So
Doubtful. Were they in on Travis Kelce? Did you get any intel on that? Were they trying to scoop him up?
I have a source with the initials TS. Loves the number 13, but she wouldn't divulge any information about whether the Patriots were interested in Travis Kelce.
It's a she. I was thinking Travis Scott, famous recording artist.
Oh. Did you hear about Donna Kelce doing renovations on our house?
So there's times where tweets come across your timeline and you're like, I shouldn't engage because that's what they're going for. But like, really, like that one really bothered me. Donna Kelce getting her home renovated. That shouldn't be on my timeline. It really shouldn't be on anyone's timeline. You know who's getting their house renovated? That guy across the street.
Yeah.
Someone down the road, they tore that whole house down. So that's life.
Yeah.
Weird stuff. True. Weird stuff. What did you think about? So you and Andrew, I believe, were second to report. Unfortunately, you were like the LA marathon leader, getting passed at the finish line.
We didn't put our thing out early enough. Yeah.
You were second to report that Tonga. They almost had a deal late in the season. It fell apart. He ended up hitting the market. Do you know how far off that contract was to what he ended up getting 3 for 21 with, I think, 14 guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah.
Pretty far off from everything that I was gathering.
So big win for Kyed Tonga.
Considerably cheaper. And I talked to someone around the league who thought 3 for 21 was high for Kyed Tonga. So I don't blame them for not matching that.
Yeah.
But they should have got it done when they had the chance in December.
Was it
they messed it up?
2-year deal, you think? Was it years or was it money?
Don't know the exact terms.
But way less than 7 per.
Yeah, 7 per. The Chiefs must love themselves some Kyed Tonga.
I mean, he had some strong stints. It's like a mini Milton Williams signing. It's like a junior Milton Williams signing. Like, well, he didn't play that much. He was the third on the depth chart.
He's just going to keep rising up with every next team.
He probably was 4th on the depth chart, but outplayed Durden. What do you think? He sort of leapfrogged
Durden
him
really came on strong when Tonga got hurt.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Didn't have a strong finish. Did play fullback, which is cool.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a loss. But if you can afford a loss, we talked about this. If you can afford a loss at any position, defensive tackle would seemingly be it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, they did a good job of finding defensive tackles. But even that one, you're like, oh, well, there's no way they should have paid him that. But it's like, well, they should have paid him back in December. So can't feel that great about that one either. I don't know. I'm honestly, Roman Anthony just went yard. You missed that.
Good for him. He's a good player.
I'm just really curious to see what they do because they are still sitting on a decent amount of cap space. I expected them to do more, especially after releasing Diggs. I expected them to do more after trading away Garrett Bradbury, even the release of Jelani Tavai. Like, all of those were moves to say, like, we're going to do more. But all it takes is one A.J. Brown trade for them to use up a whole lot of that cap space.
Mm-hmm.
And it does feel like if they still think that's possible, they do need to save cap space in order to fit him on the team.
I just wonder at this point, and I might have mentioned it earlier, because we've talked about how much of a insane cap hit the Eagles would swallow by trading him. If that's more of something you have to talk about as like a pre-training camp type thing that comes together, which obviously wouldn't be plan A for either team, given that you want draft picks for next month, not next year. However, like if you're kind of looking at that, like if that relationship dissolves in the Eagles wrecking that, like I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like more of something where the Eagles are not serious.
It could. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
Don't clip this if it happens. Don't clip this if it happens. Yeah. Don't put it out there. Don't put it in the newspaper that I got mad. Do you want me to throw some of the names off this list of the remaining guys and you tell me?
Sure.
1, no chance they're going to sign him.
Okay.
Drake May 10, he's on the team. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Best remaining player on this list is Trey Hendrickson.
He hasn't signed yet, so like 4 or 5.
Okay, they're projecting 3 years, $99 million. That's a lot of the Athletic. That's their contract projection. 33 mil.
Jalen Phillips got $30 million a year. So if he's, I don't know. I think it's only really possible if that number drops a lot.
How many sacks did he have last year?
I'm not giving a pass rusher who's that old.
4 in 7 games.
How old is he? 31?
He is 31. December birthday, so he'll be 32 at the end of next year. I would sign him for a year, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Next player, Devin Lloyd, linebacker.
Oh man, I don't even think that linebacker is that big of a need. So I would say like a 3 because you just paid Spillane last year.
Yeah. This one, Daniel Jones, bringing some competition.
10.
Yeah, he's on the team.
0.
That tells you where your free agent class is if the third name on this list is Daniel Jones.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is that the Patriots didn't really view this free agent class as having game breakers.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got tackle Taylor Decker. I don't think they're going to. Well, they probably could use a depth
for a left tackle.
Rasheed Walker, also tackle. Braden Smith. You know what? You mentioned Kevin Byard earlier. Do you know why he is one of my favorite players?
Why?
Do you remember when I think he made All-Pro? I think he was first or second team All-Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And he tweeted something, and Deion Sanders was like, "That's why you're a fan and I'm a player. Like, let the players play and you let the fans be fans." And he was like, "I play safety in the NFL. I'm good at it."
He had 7 interceptions last year, right?
He led the league in interceptions this past season with 7. So they project 2 years, $25 million, which is like, that's fun.
Byard would be like a 6 or a 7.
6, 7. Okay. Because they need a safety, whether it's him, Hawkins, whoever. We're taking
basically there are only 2 options left.
Are we taking footballs out? Because I got my Duke. Juwan Jennings seems like a 1 for you, dog.
Yeah, probably like a 2 or 3.
Reek Woolen doesn't seem like they're in the cornerback market.
They need a third cornerback.
Okay.
So maybe like a 5. I think there's other options there, but they need someone behind Gonzalez and Davis because Charles Woods is that guy right now. I think they need an upgrade there.
Okay. Now here it is, the moment of truth, the question, the real one, not Daniel Jones, Romeo Doubs.
See, I know they've been checking in on him, so that tells you it's higher than 0.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It still feels like a 5 or a 6 though. Like if that tweet came across your phone, like Patriots sign Romeo Doubs, wouldn't you be a little bit surprised?
Based on where things are now, I wouldn't say surprised.
I guess that's true. They're not a team that like gets desperate this early. And I'm not saying that's a desperation move, but
like a desperation move was like Nelson Aguilar.
Right.
You're like, why'd you okay.
That was listen. I could talk about that every day of my life and never get less confused.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you're number 1, 2 weeks in a row, Damiere Byrd getting a mention. When your number 1's Damiere Byrd, something needs to change. So I don't know.
2 straight years, they could have had Nelson Aguilar on like 1-year veteran minimum deals.
Well, you got to pay the man.
He has 1 good year, and you're like, here's $20 million a year. Like, what?
He had a couple of good snaps. He was all right. So the athletic projection on Doubs, 4 years, $61 million. So let's say
I'm doing that. I'm personally doing
15 per with maybe half of that guaranteed. That's not bad.
I would listen
in this market with Kendrick Bourne getting paid.
Do I want to do it? No. But would I pay Romeo Doubs more than Rashid Shaheed? Yes, I would. And I think he's a better player.
And it's less than Diggs was going to make for whatever that's worth.
Right.
Next, we don't have to do all of these. Dallas Goedert, we mentioned, doesn't feel likely.
Yeah.
Joey Bosa, I would say no.
Yeah, like I don't think maybe that feels like when did Diggs sign last year? Like March 20th?
Yeah, it was probably it was like 10 days into free agency.
If like one of those like 30-plus-year-old pass rushers is still available at that point, like maybe you do it then, but I don't think you're rushing out to get that guy.
Slap a jersey on him and give him a chance.
Right.
Calvin Austin.
0.
We got another tackle. Kyler Murray, I don't think is going to make it. Chaseon's on there. Still feels possible.
Pretty likely at this point.
Yeah, with the market, I mean, obviously not front of the market. Just depends if one team was really enamored with him. But if any team was enamored with him, it was probably the Patriots.
Right. Yeah.
Nashawn Wright, cornerback. Need a cornerback.
4 or 5, yeah.
Okonkwo, you mentioned him.
I don't think he's really a fit for what McDaniels wants in a tight end.
We're getting deep into it now. Like Keenan Allen's not coming to the Patriots.
No.
Jadeveon Clowney's not coming to the Patriots unless it's late March. Aaron Rodgers not coming to the Patriots. No. Stephon Diggs.
I mean, at this point, like a
3,
5, 4,
5.
3. No, 5's high. Who's the highest guard on there?
He was the one you mentioned that signed.
It's second high. Oh, Elijah Vera Tucker is another one who he's still available as long as they haven't signed at this point.
I didn't get there. It has Isaac Suomolo, but didn't he sign somewhere?
He did sign. Okay. But Batonio is still out there.
It's hard to control F guards because it's just G.
Just G, yeah.
And there's a lot. I guess I could control F, comma, G.
Yeah.
But even then, there's going to be a lot. Batonio, 60. He's the 61st ranked free agent on their list. They project him at 1 year, $6.5 million. So it's like, feels realistic.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah.
Just do it.
What'd you think about the Garrett Bradbury trade?
You know what I think about it? If you did it because you're moving Jared Wilson over.
Yeah.
You better be right that he's better at center than guard because there's this sort of prevailing thought like, oh, well, they'll move him over to center, which is his natural position. It's like, call me ignorant if you want, okay? Do it.
You're ignorant.
Okay. It's harder to play center than guard. You're in charge of more. You have to be in command of the offense. Like there
are elements that are harder. Yeah.
I would say it was easier to play guard next to a 10-year veteran center than it is to be the center.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's hard. The size element is tough because Jared Wilson is never going to be that much bigger. Mm-hmm. And he's shaped like a center rather than he's shaped like a guard. So I think that element helps because you're usually like helping out more at center rather than blocking a guy one-on-one. So I do think he'll be a better center, but you are right. You do have to be better than Garrett Bradbury.
Yeah, who was pretty good, who came in with a lot of red flags and question marks and people saying he couldn't do this, couldn't do that. Yeah, I don't think there was anyone that complained at all about Bradbury's work last year.
Some people did when he would like give up, but he was way better than anyone expected. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You also have to develop a working relationship with the quarterback, the most important man in the franchise totem pole. So it's you better be right, and you believe in Jared Wilson. That's why you picked him. But I didn't think he had, for as much as everyone focused on Will Campbell, Jared Wilson had struggles pretty consistently.
100%. So. Yes. Yeah. You can't have another season of him next year at center like you had last year with him at guard.
Yeah, it's worse. That's a bigger problem. You can kind of work around it, one guard struggling. Yeah. If the middle of your line is a weak spot, that's trouble for everyone.
Yeah, Patriots are in a weird place right now. I don't know how much cap space they have. I think they've still got over 50 something. So far I've signed 2 guys. I sat around my house all day waiting for them to do stuff. And most of the time I was just sitting watching. Have you watched the Dinosaurs documentary on Netflix?
Oh, it's popped up on my screen. Is it good?
Pretty good. Listen, we're in a safe space. We're not that in that
45.
Much of a safe space.
45 used to be, but we've been pushing it.
We've also got a lot of live viewers right now.
We have 3 hours left, so get comfy, people.
Listen, I love Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman, probably the best narrator of all time. He's the narrator on the Dinosaurs. Just feels a little bit on the nose at this point.
Okay.
It feels a little bit played out to have Morgan Freeman as the narrator.
I'll have to experience it. I'm more of a David Attenborough guy myself. I'm a big Planet Earth fan. Remember when HGTV was new and you put Planet Earth on and it was like, I need to hold on to something. I'm going to fall over.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
So, Dinosaurs, pretty good. Have you seen Hoppers yet in theaters, the new Pixar movie?
Not yet. We don't make it to the theater that often for various
reasons. You guys
reasons.
got a lot of people to pay for.
Yeah, and it's just like, we like being home. We make pizza,
So this is one of those movies where if I watched it at home, I would have tuned out after 2 minutes because the plot is too convoluted.
Okay.
But seeing in a theater when I don't look at my phone,
yeah,
I was locked in. It was great.
Maybe that's the move.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the move. All right. Rick gets the Doug Kyed 2 thumbs up.
Hoppers was great. It really was. It was great.
I saw you say it was the best Pixar film since Coco, which to me, I don't know if people know this. Definitely safe space. Coco is one of the greatest films ever made.
So Jen has never been able to, she doesn't like Coco because it's about death. And like even before anything happened in our family, she didn't like that. She didn't like the movie.
Oh, it's brutal.
Anytime that I'm going to watch Coco, it has to be like by myself, which might be it'd be kind of a weird thing to just throw on Coco by yourself.
There was someone in a meeting once at
So I'm not allowed to like Coco, but I do like Coco.
This is not a spoiler. And speaking of which, we have to bring back our homework because we skipped it last podcast. There was someone, this is not a spoiler, this is plot relevant to the movie Coco. There was someone who was like, guys, we make kids movies, right? Yeah, fun music, fun graphics, fun pictures. What if we made a movie about how someday there will be 0 living people on Earth who remember you even existed?
Yeah.
Huh? What do you, should we make it? And then someone was like, you know what, John, you son of a bitch, you're a genius. Get to drawing. Get to the drawing board. We are making this film.
Yeah, I think Pixar, like, even what's the one about emotions? Inside Out.
That's a good one. That's
it is. We put that on the other day though, but that's like a soul crushing movie.
How about Toy Story 3? The end of Toy Story 3? The 2 endings? One where they're going to the incinerator, and then the other one when like they're handed off and Andy goes off to college. It's like, yikes.
Yeah.
They'll knock you out.
It's too much. They do it too much. So Hoppers isn't quite on that level. So Hoppers is good. Right. But people are asking if we're going to talk about football again. We probably might.
After 45, anything's on the table. Like,
it's true.
Truly anything.
Yeah.
But I think we covered day 1 of free agency, you know?
Yeah, I think so too, because we'll probably be back when they do something again.
Yeah. I think the Pierce thing happening at what, 12:02? Kind of a bummer. Kind of a kick in the groin when you're looking forward to something.
Draymond Jones happened at like 12:10. Gilliam happened pretty early, and then they did nothing else. So,
and you're kind of waiting for like okay, but what's next? And I would put those in the same Spillane category, where last year that was the first thing, and you're like, okay, but what else? And then they got Milton Williams. You didn't get the Milton Williams today.
No, you did not get the Milton Williams.
I don't think Milton Williams was out there. That's my take.
No, he wasn't. Alec Pierce was the closest thing to Milton Williams, and he pulled a Chris Godwin and Ronnie Stanley by re-signing.
That's a lot of money, you know? That's a lot of money. Who's going to throw him the ball?
Daniel Jones, baby.
All right.
Oh, yeah. So the Smashing Machine.
39 million. So this has to be our last thing because it is a spoiler. So as long as we can do that. I'm out. I'm done. I'm topicked out. So
I think I'm tapped. Yeah.
Okay. So I gave you the homework to watch The Smashing Machine. My friend.
So
Dwayne
tune
Johnson,
out if you have not watched The Smashing Machine,
because there will be a spoiler. And or if you don't care, stay tuned. If you don't need it, but if that's on your list,
of a spoiler.
It's not really. Yeah. He doesn't like turn into an alien at the end and go up to the space. If it's like on your list and you got to see it, I would recommend tapping out now. Thank you.
Tapping out.
Check us out. Like, rate, and review.
Yep.
Leave a comment. But yeah, so I asked you to watch The Smashing Machine because I think it was a rare, really good movie starring my friend Dwayne Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
All due respect to Rampage. Actually, I kind of like Jungle Cruise. That was a pretty fun one.
San Andreas was great.
San Andreas, I believe, had the most civilian casualties of any film of all time. They're just like skyscrapers falling and like the earth cratering, and you're like, but I hope these 3 people make it.
Right. Yeah.
Anyways, a good film starring my friend Dwayne Johnson, but I said it lacked one important thing. And so you watch the movie and you're like, all right, what is it?
So I think my answer to you was a plot. Even though the movie was enjoyable to watch, there wasn't exactly a linear plot.
When you watch a movie that's about a guy who fights, and the whole movie is just like he's doing some fights.
He's fighting. Yes. There wasn't like an A to B to C storyline. Apparently, there's a documentary, and this was basically just like a shot-for-shot acted version of the documentary.
Yeah, I did read that after. But that's not what I thought the film was lacking. I thought the film was lacking, which most films have, an ending, a dramatic conclusion, something. Because what makes a great story, I learned this freshman year of high school in English, is conflict.
Yeah.
And there are 8 different types of conflict: man versus man versus self, et cetera, et cetera. This one, I don't know what the conflict was, but there was no, maybe that's why there was no resolution. It's just, you're watching a movie, he's fighting, he loses, everyone loses eventually. He's not the greatest fighter of all time. And then the screen goes black, and then it shows a guy in a grocery store getting groceries, being nice to people. And you're like, oh, I guess that's him now. And like, sure enough, that's the real life guy. And you're like, oh, nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
There he is buying groceries, being nice.
I was worried that something bad was going to happen.
That was the whole movie. You're like, oh, geez, there's a gun at some point.
Right.
Like there's drugs.
Yeah.
There's muscles, steroids, probably. You know, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a toxic relationship. Even that in the text, they're like, you know what? They got married. They were married. They had a kid. They got divorced. It was like, this ending sucks. It wasn't even
like, oh, they stayed together. Yeah.
There was no ending. And I was just sitting there like, is there going to be a bonus scene?
Yeah.
It was a very, I guess you can't, it's almost like, well, why did they change real life for the movie? It's because of that, because you need something to actually happen at the end for it to be a beginning, middle, and end of a story.
So I didn't like it as much as you did. Probably because it didn't have a plot or an ending. I also was wondering the whole time, why haven't I heard of this guy before now? And after the movie, I was like, I get it.
Right.
I understand why I hadn't heard of him.
Though, when was the first time you were even really aware of like Ultimate Fighting? I feel like it was early 2000s, right? Like Chuck.
It was earlier for me. It was earlier for me because you were not a pro wrestling fan.
I was in middle school. I was.
Okay, so in the
90s,
I would go to Hollywood Video or Blockbuster, and when I was renting like old wrestling pay-per-views, UFC would be among the wrestling tapes.
Okay.
So I was aware of it, but didn't watch it, but also knew of guys like Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock.
Yeah. Well,
because they went to WWE.
I knew Shamrock. And where I veered off from the pro wrestling was the Insane Clown Posse had a tape called Stranglemania, starring what's his name? Mankind, Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Like with barbed wire, like wrapping his body in barbed wire and jumping off a ladder. It was not sanctioned anything.
Right.
There was no
hardcore matches.
Yeah, those were nuts. I don't know where they even did those, but I feel like UFC didn't really get mainstream American popularity until after.
No, until
this guy.
Yeah, I don't even like who was even the first most popular UFC.
I said Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
He was on Entourage, so that's how you know he was a big deal.
Yeah, it was probably Chuck Liddell. Yeah.
But anyways, there's our movie review. Apologize to anyone that just wanted us to talk football. I think we covered it, and then we did a little.
Hey, there was 2 signings, so there was only so much that we could say.
And one's a fullback, and we both were like, "Yeah, good player, should help." Right. Football player.
Yep, should help. Made some Bills fans mad, so Patriots fans will probably be happy about that. But no, I mean, I personally believe, I'm of the belief that they need to do more from here on out. We'll see if that happens. I was of the impression that they would be more aggressive, but they have not been.
I guess let's say we're doing a podcast tomorrow night at this time, and the only thing that's changed is Romeo Doubs.
I think you're feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're at this point tomorrow and all they've done is sign Chason and Hawkins, how are you feeling?
I don't think they can solve my major concern. That's why I'm really like 3D chessing it. How are they fixing the tight end? That's 2. They're gonna have to draft 2, like you mentioned, and then you mentioned Asiasi and Keene. Yeah,
didn't go well that time.
Yeah, so
those are 2 high picks too, 3rd round picks.
And I know wide receivers more fun and sexier and more high stakes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. I don't know.
Especially this year too, when it's like, all right, are you gonna draft Omar Cooper or Denzel Boston? Like these flawed 1st round wide receivers, you're taking a gamble on a gamble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tough spot. And we say that. Even the comment you brought up on our screen where it was like sky is falling, it ended with them being 9-8, which is like
that is true, yeah. But you don't, you don't want to go 9-8 after making the Super Bowl. But
I looked. I mean, you don't know what teams are what, but you look at that schedule. They're not going to win 14 games again.
No, they're not.
I think 12 would be a lot. So, like 11 wins next year is a good season.
Right. Yes.
Based on who you think you're playing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. They're not. I don't know. It's hard when expectations have dramatically altered.
Yeah.
When we did this podcast last year, we're like, all right, you're going from 4 wins. You hope this can get you to 8. And then you hope the next year you can get to 10. And then year 3, you can compete for championships. I know that's been sort of thrown out of whack, but you still have to kind of remember that, don't you?
No, you do. You absolutely do.
All right.
All right. Well, we are going to go because we might do this again soon. And yeah, we will talk to you guys again soon. Make sure to rate, review, subscribe. You've got a football. I've got a football. We've all got footballs.
Now we're going to fade to black and we're going to cut to me and Doug grocery shopping.